Hey data fans, Reed here. Today I have some updates to talk to you about regarding the external tool multi-tool that I've been building out over the last few months. We'll look at two new tools or parts of the tool that I've added into this. One that will do a bit of report cleanup, unused items removal, and visual level filters that can be hidden, which I'll show you. And also, as I'm sure some of you have had challenges with, is automatically and intelligently resizing the column widths of a visual. So with that being said, I'll keep the summary short. Let's hop into Power BI and get started. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll start by discussing the table column widths tool. Again, the goal of this is to auto-size, essentially either intelligently or by letting you set specific requirements for the widths. So I have the file that you see behind this open, but let's just go ahead and connect to the PBIP. Again, the requirements for this is that it must be a PBIP format, report and model, but this here will be connecting to that. So I have the file path here at the top. I'm going to select scan visuals, and it will identify 4 tables in my visual. Now, the file itself here, taking a look at this before the updates, you can see that there's a lot of issues with the column widths. So there's too much spacing in some of the categories, not enough spacing in some of the values themselves. So a lot of opportunity to clean this up. Now I can go through and resize these one at a time, but as you can be aware of, if you've tried this before, it's a bit of a pain. So let me bring back up the dialog box for the multi-tool. And what we can do is we can do this either globally, where we can automatically apply everything. So notice down here we have global settings. I can do narrow, medium, wide. I personally prefer the items that I added where it's fit to header or fit to totals. So the categorical columns fitting to header to a degree makes sense because the title is usually going to be the longest that's going to be in there. So that's what that's applied to. But you have a few options. And then fitting to totals, because the subtotals and grand totals are generally going to be the biggest value that you'll have in here. So that's what that's going to do, is it's going to try to fit it to the size of the subtotals that's contained in there, essentially for the visual itself. Now, you can also individually, non-globally, adjust any one of these. So if I wanted to go to the outline matrix here, on one of those pages, and I wanted to do custom, it will do that. Now, granted, you must have at least minimum of 50. Anything less than that gets too small. So if I try to type 45, it would throw an error here, give me a warning that that's below the minimum of 50. But it does give you the options to at least be able to specify that if you'd want to. I will keep them as is. Otherwise, though, maybe for the preview, I'll show you one option. So I'm just going to change these to 60 and 80, select apply to this visual. Now, the cool thing, too, is you have a preview option. So clicking on this will actually make those adjustments in here. And notice, by the way, that there's the custom pixels that I gave into this that is going to be setting those in this section over here. Now, we have the 60, and then the 110, I believe, is actually on the fact that when I double-clicked on this one, yes, I have not actually set it to custom. So if I do that, apply that one more time, come back to preview, there's our 60 and our 80. So we get a preview of every single item in here. And the cool part is it shows current, it shows the new width that will be applied, and then it will show the net change of plus or minus. So you actually get to see a preview of all of that. Now, I already have a file ready to go to show these changes, where I did fit to header, fit to totals for everything globally. So let's go ahead and show that file and the output of what this would do for changes. Here we are. So now everything's been updated. You can see that the column widths have been adjusted. The value columns or measures have also been adjusted to accommodate for those. Now, it's not going to be perfect for every single report, but it will at least get you a lot closer. And the other one, too, is it will attempt for the compact matrix and other ones to identify how many levels there are. Try to account accordingly to make this wide enough for all of your levels to show. But it did a pretty good job of redesigning this in a way that really does help to clean up these visuals a lot more consistently, uniformly, and in a faster method. So I really like this. But as always, this is a community tool, so testing and feedback is very important. The GitHub repository links down there for filing issues. But I really like this one because it's a pain in the butt to design these otherwise. And having that auto-intelligent fit goes a long way, I think. So let's go ahead and, again, hop back into the main tool. Now, the other one that I built is the report cleanup tool. That goes through and removes a bunch of unused items. Specifically, what it will remove is any custom visuals that are A, added from the AppSource marketplace, or B, in the file itself. So I want to show you actually the file path when I say in the file itself. If you add the PBI viz file, you might not see them over here, but you can have legacy hidden items in that. So let me open up the file explorer. Here we are. So in front of us, these are actually a lot of old visuals that aren't even visible in this anymore, but they're still showing up in the file itself. Now, this is a file that I've been using for demos for years and have reused, and I never realized these were sitting in there for a long time, but it can take up cobwebs. If you have a much older file that maybe has been updated for many different years and you've iterated over it, there can be some cobwebs in there. So that was one of the things that I wanted to look for in my tool. The other thing that I will look for is unused bookmarks as well. So if there is a bookmark that was created with the page is gone, or it's no longer assigned to a page navigator or to a button at all, then it will mark as likely unused. And finally, it will give you an option to hide all visual level filters. I can tell you that is one of my most annoying things to have to do, is to go through to every visual and click every single visual filter and hide that. I hate doing that. I practice that as a design when I build my filter pane out, but all of these are things that it will do. So let's click Analyze. It will go through, give you a nice detailed summary of everything it found, give you a cleanup preview, and if you click Clean Items, it'll even give you a final summary of all of the build pane visuals it found, hidden visuals, themes that are removed that are no longer being used. I forgot to mention that it will take out unused themes, guaranteed unused bookmarks. So this page gone. The page itself is missing. It's impossible to use now. Likely unused is these ones were not found attached to anything. Somebody might be using them with personal bookmarks, but they are at least marked as something you can remove. And then any empty groups as well for bookmarks and a few other things. Visual level filters that will be hidden, not removed. And then just a couple of notes in here as well for making sure to back this up. And before I do this, just to mention, you can choose which of these actions to do. So you can do all of them, you can do some. But now, with this being said, let's also then go take a look at our report and see the outputs of this. Visuals have been removed from this list. If I take a look at my bookmarks, I didn't show you it before, but the unused bookmarks were deleted out of this. And additionally, all of my visual level filters have been hidden off of this. So it does a really nice job of cleanup for all of that to do things that honestly were somewhat tedious and frustrating to do before. So I love the ability to quickly and easily be able to use this tool for so many different things, but it's just a great way to optimize and hopefully save you a bit of time as you're building out this stuff. As always, though, comments and suggestions and feedback down below. But of course, please, for this situation, if you have suggestions or issues with the tool, the GitHub repository link down below, and also our main link to download the installer, which will let you install the actual executable itself, is found on our website if you sign up for the blog. But otherwise, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps to grow the channel, so to speak, and continue to get exposure for awesome community tools like this that I'm really enjoying building out. But with that being said, I will see you all in my next video.